I'm Dr. Niharika. I'll give my introduction. There has been a lot of confusion. I'm a psychiatrist. Is there any psychiatrist here? No, so I can speak whatever. All right. So I'm a psychiatrist. I have done my MBBS and MD. I did my MD when Telemanus was starting to operate, and basically NIMHANS was where it all started. I joined my MD residency when COVID hit. It was in 2020. Everyone was against taking me the field of psychiatry because, you know, I come from a family of doctors, and like sir said, you're supposed to grind and you're not supposed to, you know, be a snowflake. So for my family, for people around me, psychiatry, mental health, these were all things of snowflakes. To be honest, I wasn't convinced either ways. I just liked the college. I took it. Afterwards, things changed for me. I myself faced a lot of stigma. Even when you are a caretaker of people with mental health, even you feel a lot of stigma. And I feel that things have changed immensely after COVID. The way people looked at us, the way people look at us, it has changed dramatically, and I think I have hit a jackpot. I'm very happy with what I did to myself. So anyway, this was my introduction. The one thing will also come that I have also worked in National Mental Health Survey. It's a survey, basically, it's largest national mental health survey. You must have come across data like in India, 1 out of 20 people have depression. So that survey, that's where I worked as. So I'll start with my topic. Can you please go to the next topic? This is what we are going to be engaging in next. So I had to understand what AI is before I come and talk here, because I know not many psychiatrists are here, but I'm sure there are people who work in this field, so I couldn't just talk gibberish. So I had to know what is AI. AI is, I understood that it's basically a computer science that aims to produce programs that simulate human intelligence. When you talk of somebody simulating human intelligence, you come to think of, oh, is it going to replace me? So then when I was kind of reading on history, which I always like to go back to when I have a question like this, there was this great mathematician, British, 1950, Alan Turing, if anyone has heard of him. So, you know, there was this interesting experiment that he liked to do. So what he was trying to understand is, does computer think? Can computer think? So what he did was he put two people across and then gave a question to, let's say, one person. The one person asked question to somebody. He doesn't know is it a computer or a person. If the first person is able to guess that the answer back was from a computer or was it a human, if he's not able to guess that, computer wins. So that's how the experiment was. I think we have come too far from that, and AI can definitely win this game, and it certainly has a mind of its own. But is that mind enough? Is that enough for us to give ourselves completely into? I'm not sure about that. For example, let's say, you know, sir does a case and there is some problem, or, you know, you got some complication, you can go back, you can still go back to him. You know, if I prescribe you something and you have some side effect, you can still come back and tell me, hey, what have you given? What side effect is this? So that accountability is coming up. I'm not saying it's not there, it's coming up, but it's still to come, still to be seen, to know who to go to, who to complain to. At least I don't know. Because before coming here, I actually talked to AI chatbots, and I realized that I think this topic, that AI, whenever somebody asks, I want to commit suicide, they reply that, yeah, go ahead and do it. I think they have come to notice this because AI is very smart, so are the people who work around this. So now they are giving a helpline number. So, I mean, they are definitely growing. I mean, they are taking your feedback and they are growing. So I can't really say that, you know, they can't replace me. To be very honest, before I was invited here, I was avoiding AI like anything because I'm scared of AI. Somewhere down the line, I'm scared of AI because my field does not need intervention. I just started to get recognition, man. And now they're talking about replacing my job. But thankfully, thanks to the team that I actually read about it, and I'm sure that at least till my lifetime, probably I won't be replaced. But I'm sure that my job is certainly going to be curtailed. I talked about National Mental Health Survey. So what is a survey? I mean, we have a huge population. Psychiatrists are not going to door and find out who has what mental illness. So how is it that done? So basically, we pick up layman counselors. They are random people who are like 10th pass, 12th pass, and some, we give them some basic understanding. We develop a questionnaire. And then we tell them as to, if these things come, then this person has this person has that. So it's a screening procedure. And they come out right most of the time. But when I talk about specificity, I mean, in anxiety, in depression, both can have low mood. So does it mean that they have both? I mean, that's the easiest way to go, but that's not how it is done. So the treatment even varies based on that. So they make a basic assumption and they are giving you rough data, but that's not really accurate, and you can't base your treatment on that. And that's why I've understood about AI. It can be a very good pre-counselor. I mean, people from colleges, I mean, I can't imagine that I can ask my father, I need some 7,000 for my monthly therapy sessions, or, I need to take medicine. I mean, I would get a lot of questions, and probably I am trying to dodge that question, and probably I'm not that sick enough. So probably I just had a breakup and I need someone to talk to. So I think AI is good there. Maybe I need to know what is the next step as to I am feeling this way. I'm hearing voices. What is the next step to be done? What is it called? So it gives me a good summary. It gives me a good screening. And maybe then I can go to a specialist. It saves some money, doesn't it? It saves some time. It also saves some load if you really think about it. We talked about how there is a treatment gap. Why is this treatment gap? It's about affordability. It's about accessibility. I mean, we are talking here and living in Delhi, South Delhi. So we may not really gauge this, but I come from a very small town where I know a lot of people who, who in our villages, there are people जिसको सब पगला कहते हैं. तो वो पगला ही है, वही उसका नाम है, वो वही है. ठीक है, तो probably if he had gotten treatment on time, if somebody had recognized that, that wouldn't have become his identity. So not everywhere professionals can go. So AI, I think, can be a good help in terms of that. Can we go to the next step? Yeah, so I tried to learn this large language models. Of course, I didn't do well with this, but I understood a few things. So the mental health therapy, which is based on AI, is mostly working on machine learning and this LLM model. So what they are doing is they are taking girth of data. So everyone is talking about how they are taking your data. It's true. So when we do research, you are students, you are probably doing some research or thesis. If you put garbage, garbage comes out. That's what our teachers would tell us. If you put fake data, if you put, bad data, your research is going to be ugly. So that's how it is. If we are going to put validated data, probably our things are going to be more better. The output is going to be cleaner, which is probably not happening as much at this point of time. Next step is architecture. They kind of make patterns basically कि अभी ये आएगा तो इसके बाद ये बोलना है, ये आएगा तो इसके बाद ये बोलना है. They understand कि किस word को कहाँ पे रखना है. ये मुझे समझ में आया. Then we do some training, which is like a vague training, and then they do some fine tuning, which is basically reinforcement learning from human feedback. I'm specifically mentioning this because I found this very interesting. You know how we learn things? We learn things from reinforcements. When we were young, I wanted something, maybe I didn't know that I have to top my exam, but the applause that I would get, the gifts that I would receive, they made me feel that this is something that is the right thing to do and I should do it. So this is what AI is also doing. And so basically they are working on the neural mode network. That's how our brain works. They have synapses, they work on, recognizing patterns, correcting ourselves based on reinforcements, basically based on feedbacks. So that's what they are doing. Still, we are very smarter at that level, but they are reaching there, and that scares me a bit. Can we go next? So research shows that nearly 50% of individuals who could benefit from therapeutic services are unable to reach them. When we say therapeutic services, it means either medication, either therapy, or both. Treatment gap in psychiatric illness is more than 60% in all categories. For substance use, it's 80%. So people who are let's say who have alcohol dependence, they are not getting any help at all, even from good socioeconomic status. Can we go next? Just go back, please. Right, and internet access is almost more than 95% in India. This data says something, right? Treatment gap is more than 60% and internet access is more than 95%. So if we use this internet access to kind of, take care of the simpler cases, take care of the things which we may prevent it to go into a disorder level, probably this gap will also decrease. I think there AI can work. Can we go next? So what are the characteristics that makes a good human therapist? So I am also a therapist. I am also working profoundly in trauma therapy. I am taking a diploma courses from this, if you guys know. There I learned a lot about body and mind work. So when I am taking your therapy, I'm not just hearing what you are saying. Your non-verbal cues matter a lot. How you're feeling, how your ears turn red when you talk about someone, how your eyes, they get wet when you're talking about someone, how you started feeling uncomfortable when I brought up some topic. That means a lot. I mean, we look at the complex picture, the whole picture. It's not just what you're saying. So words are not everything, first of all. So just wanted to say that. So a good therapist is who is treating patients equally, somebody who is not treating marginal people differently. So that's what everyone is talking about, because the data is mostly from non-marginalized section. So the output is also coming out a little biased. So that has to be taken care. Showing empathy, of course, empathy is to be shown, and AI is doing that too, maybe a little too much. Not stigmatizing mental health conditions. In fact, there were studies that showed that for some condition like schizophrenia, like alcohol, AI is stigmatizing. Why? Because that is trying to protect us. They are like, okay, this person may be violent, you should take care of yourself, you should be away from them. But that's not how it is. Not everyone who has schizophrenia is violent. So that's where, again, our role comes in. Not enabling suicide thoughts or delusions. I mean, that's very important. So let's say I tell you that I hear voices, and then the AI gives you the prompt, where is this voice coming from? It's coming from outside, and it says that I'm a dirt. And the AI tells you that you should not feel bad about what others are saying. Do you know what is happening here? The AI is kind of enabling that voice. Auditory hallucination is nothing but your thoughts coming out loud. So now the AI is making you feel that that is actually happening, and the AI is also giving you prompt as to what you should do about it. So that is not serving the purpose. But I'll also come to how it is serving the purpose now. They have also figured out, but later on. And yeah, and of course the last part, everyone is talking about it, and I felt this too in my experiment, challenging a patient's thinking when it's appropriate. I mean, we know that when are we going to interject our patients. I have had patients who told me that, ma'am, I don't like the way you talked about this thing, and I may not be coming to you again, but after a month or two, when they have kind of processed it, and they may come back. And they may still not come back. That is okay with me, because my job is not to make you feel just good, but also to make you do the right thing. That's also my job. I am not here to harm you. Next, please. Okay, so this is one interesting thing that I came across. This was from somebody TEDx talk. So he was talking about how AI processes therapy session. So if you see the pink part, that is the active work. Active work means whatever we learn in our therapy, rephrasing and all that. Green is chit chat. Chit chat is basically, so how is your life going, how is your wife doing and all that thing. So according to him, A versus B, A is without AI help, B is with AI's prompt. So prompt told him, the therapist, that now you're diverging a bit, can you just come to the point. So they were trying to put across the point that the A session is better than B session. I don't agree. When we are talking to our patients, we are also there to give them the interaction. They are not here just for the thing. I mean, we all know, मम्मी ने बताया है टाइम पे उठो, टाइम पे सो, टाइम पे खाना खाओ, तो हमें पता है ना. We are not there for just that. We are also there for human connection. So while we are trying to tell everyone that AI से therapy लेकर के I'm going to be completely well, but the complex side is AI can be very helpful, but the more you pull away from social interaction, the more sicker you are going to get. So we have to find that balance. There is no such thing as AI versus us. It's us versus illness. That's how it should be. Next, please. Almost done. Next. Yeah. So I'm just showing you these few things which are from AI, which is helping people around with different type of conditions. So we are looking at Casper. Where is the Casper? So I have not put Casper. Casper is basically a thing which helps in interacting for autism children. Then here, yeah, I want to show you this avatar therapy. So people with hallucinations, they tell the AI prompt as to how this voice is feeling like in their head. They give an image to the voice, and now therapist talks like from the avatar. It feels like the avatar is talking to them, and now therapist kind of tries to make this person comfortable. So this is for cases where we are not able to treat hallucination. At least we can't make the hallucination go away. AI is helping to reduce the distress. That's still something, isn't it? Next, please. Next. The perils, I would just say one thing. The second part, I think everything else has been discussed. The lack of transparency. How is this algorithm working? So let's say I give a patient and AI told me this person has bipolar. I have no idea how that was done. So that's a black box for me. I am completely blindsided there. If I'm taking your help, I need you to act with me. You shouldn't direct me that, all your 10 years of mehnat is nothing and, just do this and this is how it is going to be. Because we know that now diagnosis is not just about giving a label. We also want to take care of all the aspect of your symptoms. So if we just know the diagnosis and not all the aspect of your symptoms, you won't get that personalized touch with us. Next. Next, I have told you this. This is my last slide. In Illinois, the solitude uses of AI for therapy has been banned. Why it is banned is to, you can see that what they are trying to say. So what they have said is, they will not allow AI to provide mental health and therapeutic decision making while allowing the use of AI for administrative and supplementary support. That's what I'm trying to make a point. I think AI can be a very good supplementary support for us, and it could make everything very faster. There could be early detection. It's also mentioned in Niti Aayog. It can also help us in early detection of cancer. It can help in early detection of genetic disease. Yes, cancer. And mental illness, of course. So, yeah. So, that's all, I guess. Thank you.